Hey guys, OGalbina here, bringing you guys our BBL Week 1 battle against SV Tornado. SV Tornado, I said Tornado. SV Tornado and her Sakura Sylveons. Very, very scary team. There's some scary big threats on here. It's a cool team that can control the speed from both sides. You can see it down below. We are going to do a quick team builder, so if you want to skip ahead to the battle, I will leave a a timestamp. I'll flash something on the screen, something probably a little bit earlier, honestly, but regardless, you can skip ahead to the battle when you want to see that. But this is going to be a team builder for those of you that want to, get that background knowledge on what we're bringing, why we're bringing it, and sets and EVs and all that good stuff. But before I jump into it, if you haven't subbed to the channel already, please consider doing so. I'd really appreciate it. It's really easy, completely free, and you can always change your mind later. We're pushing towards a goal of 400. We've had great support lately, and all our draft league stuff that's recently been starting up. We not only have the BBL, we have the BBR, we have the NCP. So if you love draft league content, or if you love OU Wi-Fi battles and stuff of that nature, we do plenty of that here as well. So if that floats your boat, definitely drop a sub. But now let's finally jump into it. As you can see on our screen, our team, if you don't know already, consists of Marshadow, Melmetal, Necrozma, Crocodile, Salamence, Tapu Bulu, Milotic, Aromatisse, Rotom Fan, Roselia, and Porygon. While our opponent's team is listed below, and it consists of Giratina, the Alter version, not the Origin. They have to run that version, which is something good to note. Pheromosa, Victini, Glastrier, Togekiss, Zarude, Stakataka, Tentacruel, Mudsdale, and Audino. Now, right off the bat, biggest threats to me, I think that Pheromosa and Victini are both very, very scary for me to deal with. Victini, I do have to pivot around correctly. I think potentially like a mixed Life Orb set can be very, very hard for me to deal with. I do have things like Milotic that can check it pretty well, but I think I'm forced into a very physically defensive Milotic, so I think like a special Teeny with T-Bolt can actually be really, really annoying. Like a V-Create, T-Bolt, Glaciate, 4th moveset can honestly be pretty scary versus our team. So again, we're gonna have to be very, very careful about that. And then like a Life Orb Pheromosa is also very hard for us to deal with. We don't have much to be able to switch into that thing defensively. Offensively, we have a lot of things that kill it, and we always have Marshadow to pretty much revenge it as long as we never let it get up to substitute. So that's going to be a main goal. We do have a good soft check to it though, at the very least. And yeah, I think everything else we can deal with pretty well. We'll get into it when we talk about it in a minute. I'm kind of revealing one of the mods that's like, third or fourth slides, but let's go ahead and jump into our first mod, which is going to be Marshadow, rocking out with a Life Orb, Spectral Thief, Shadow Sneak, Close Combat, and Rock Tomb. EVs wise, we're rocking out with 28 HP, 252 attack, 4 defense, 4 speed def, and 220 speed with an adamant nature. This Pokemon goes insane this matchup. My opponent just really does not have good pivots into Marshadow. Stabs honestly hit my opponent's entire team neutrally or super effectively, which is really clutch. And then we have things like Rock Tomb, honestly just for that Togekiss. It does a little bit more than Spectral Thief. I potentially wanted to run Poltergeist over Rock Tomb, but I didn't think it was honestly really worth it. And when the fact that we can control the speed a little bit with Rock Tomb, and Mudsdale is going to be chewing hits from us at +1 anyways, it will take 2. So I think that's a very important thing about this team too, is we're going to want to force things in like Mudsdale and Togekiss and get them chipped to where Marshadow can kind of come in and either click Close Combat, Spectral Thief, or Shadow Sneak and just win the game. Sneak is very free as well. It's a great way of revenging Pheromosa, and it's a very solid mod in this matchup overall. So it should be a good time of, nonetheless. Next up, we have our Salamence rocking out with the heavy duty boots. Intimidate as its ability, Hurricane, Draco Meteor, Roost, and Hydro Pump. 84 EVs and HP, 172 special attack, and then 252 speed with a timid nature. Now this Pokemon, it's a bit odd that I'm bringing special Ments right off the rip. Like I said in my draft analysis, when people think of Ments, they often think of that scary DD sweeper, but I think a special Intimidate pivot set with still a good amount of offense is actually very good against this team in particular. And we're running Hydro Pump Salamence, which I think is hella cool. It actually gives good coverage versus a lot of things that might potentially want to pivot in on us. We hit things like Mudsdale and Stakataka really hard, and those are potential checks to like a DD Ments, especially with like Earthquake. A Sugar Berry Stakataka could definitely come in this matchup. I think Chop is also very likely if it ends up coming. But back can check it for sure. And then Mudsdale checks the hell out of Mence if it's DD physical. It's very hard for Mence to really be able to break through that. So Pump is going to catch both those things while still giving us super effective coverage for things like Victini. And then Hurricane plus Dracometer is very hard for my opponent to deal with. This gives me a great check to things like Zarude. It gives me a great check to Victini that's, not mixed and isn't carrying that Glaciate or anything like that. We can live one Glaciate from full from the Victini if it is max special attack. Not if it's a boosting item, but if it's max special attack, we can take that. We're obviously speed tying a max speed Victini. If it comes down to that, I'd like to win that. And then we have the rest in special attack just for overall damage output, which is awesome. Next up, we have big Melmetal rocking out with the Assault Vest, Iron Fist is its ability, Double Iron Bass, Ice Punch, Earthquake, and Facade. 132 HP, 228 attack, 4 defense, 84 speed F, and 60 speed with an adamant nature. Now this Pokemon, another Pokemon that does incredibly well. If you look at my opponent's team, they have a lot of things that are very, very slow. I might want to take advantage of Trick Room, and I wanted to potentially have something that would be a little bit better suited to not necessarily underspeed these things in Trick Room, because things like Stack Attack and Glacier are going to underspeed me regardless. I wanted a way to guaranteed outspeed them outside of Trick Room and put on a lot of pressure, and I think that Melmetal does that really, really well. We can Earthquake the Stack Attack, we can Double Iron Bash the hell out of Glacier, which is awesome. We can obviously check things like Togekiss very, very well. We can check a Giratina with, if it does end up being no Will Whisper or anything like that, we check it very well. We can check a Zarude incredibly well. It's honestly a very, very solid Pokemon in this matchup. We do have to be a little bit careful with things like Rocky Helmet Mudsdale, which is something I could definitely see coming. I see some kind of helmet in general, whether it be Tentacruel or Mudsdale, seem very, very likely to me. So Earthquake and Ice Punch are going to hit those things pretty hard. We do have Wish support in the back and Aromatisse later on, but I figured keeping Melmetal as healthy as possible is nice. And then Facade is going to be, in case we do end up getting burned by a Tentacruel Scald, or we end up getting Thunderwave by that Togekiss or something like that, I wanted to have a way to still have sufficient damage output if we don't get a chance to get a Heal Bell off. With our attack, we can Oko max HP Tentacruel with a Earthquake. We are creeping Mons that are creeping a no speed Porygon, so if they actually do elect to go for a little bit of speed, in her Mons like, Mudsdale and Glacier and stuff like that, they're creeping like, a Pori in case that ends up coming. We will outspeed them, and it also just covers general creeps and stuff like that. We live a jolly Expert Belt Close Combat from Pheromosa, and then we threw the rest in Spit F just to be an overall check there. So I think Stack Attack. I think Melmetal, our Steel type, is actually phenomenal in this matchup, especially with good Wish support and good pivoting and stuff like that. It's very difficult for my opponent to take this Pokemon down in one hit, and it's always going to leave a dent anytime we can position it and get it in. So that's going to be the main goal with Big Melee this game, just kind of poke holes and set up for other Pokemon like Marshadow potentially in the game. If we can force chip on Tentacruel and especially Mudsdale, we'll be in a pretty good spot. Next up, we have Milotic rocking out with the Flame Orb, Marvel Scale's ability, obviously, Scald, Recover, Flip Turn, and Ice Beam. 164 HP, max defense, 4 special attack, 4 speed F, and 84 speed with a bold nature. Now, this thing, it does have a lot of pressure on it this game. I will say it has a ton of pressure on it this game, but it walls a good majority of my opponent's team. If they're not like a boosting item and they're physical and they're Pheromosa, we check the hell out of that. We check the hell out of a physical Victini. We check the hell out of a physical Giratina. We check the hell out of Mudsdale. We check the living crap out of Glacier. Close Combat does like 2% to us, and then we check Stack Attack. So I think Milotic is incredibly important in this game. Scald plus Ice Beam honestly hit my opponent's team very hard. We're not doing much Tentacle anyway, so I'd rather nab a burn on that or potentially Flip Turn out and get free momentum. And then, like I said, Flip Turn is good momentum if they do want to go Tentacruel, Gira, Zarude. We don't want to risk, going for an Ice Beam, but Ice Beam is obviously going to hit Zarude as well, and it doesn't want to take a Scald. So I think Milotic is actually phenomenal in this game, and just being a great defensive nuisance to a lot of my opponent's physical attackers that are going to kind of try and break through our team. So Milo is absolutely phenomenal here. And then we have Necro. We are rocking out with the Leftovers. Prism Armor is our ability. Photon Geyser, Earth Power, Morning Sun, and Stealth Rock. 244 HP, 12 defense, 148 special attack, 4 speed F, and then 100 speed with a modest nature. Now, we needed rocks this game. I think rocks are incredibly important when you're playing things like Teeny, when you're playing things like Glacier, and when you're playing things like Pheromosa that could potentially rock out with Focus Sash. So I wanted to potentially have rocks. It also lets me scout boots on irons because there are mods like Victini, Glacier, and Togekiss all can viably run them, so this gives me a way of scouting those. And then if you look at my opponent's team and you look at Photon Geyser plus Earth Power, it's very difficult for them to switch into it. She has things like Fat Togekiss, Fat Gira. They can probably pivot in, but they're going to be scared of setup sets. And I think this set gives me some great, not only a great rocker, but some great overall utility. Earth Power is going to blow back that stack attacker. The only thing that we don't really do a lot of damage to is going to be Zarude. But I think we have sufficient checks to Zarude on this team between Melmetal and Salamence and our fourth Mon. Even our Milotic can chew a hit from it pretty easy. I didn't really mention the Milotic EVs, but we have to be Victini out of after a V-Crate and then put the rest in a Fist Death. But regardless, Necro EVs wise, we do the same thing. We have enough speedy for Victini after V-Crate, so we will always outspeed it then. We can 2-hit KO max HP Victini with our special attack investment, and then we throw the rest into HP and defense to take those hits overall better. We can live things like U-Turn from Pheromosa, so this is honestly a phenomenal lead, and I think Rock's really important, so I want to potentially get those up as early as humanly possible, and that's going to be the main goal here with Big Necro. And then lastly, we have Aromatisse, rocking out the Kebia Berry, which is leftovers on the thing. It is a Kebia Berry. I apologize. I totally have the wrong item there. Aroma Veil as its ability, Moonblast, Wish, Protect, and Heal Bell. EVs wise, we get 244 HP, 124 defense, 4 special attack, 84 def, and 52 speed with a Calm Nature. Now, EVs wise, we are not 2-hit KO'd by modest Life Orb Shadow Ball from Giratina. Now, while you typically see Giratina be a little bit more bulky, I think in this matchup in particular, it could get away with being a much more offensive set, because Shadow Ball with Draco Meteor is very hard for my team to switch into. So I could definitely see something like that, and I wanted to have something that was not 2-hit KO'd by it, as we are not bringing Crocodile this week, and this is our 6th member. This is going to be our best bet. Heal Bell is going to be really nice for things like Tentacle throwing off Big Scalds and being annoying, and then Togekiss throwing off Thunder Waves, or if Amon catches something like Milotic with a Toxic before its Flame Orb procs. Now, I know it's a little bit counterintuitive to run Heal Bell with a Flame Orb Milotic, but I figured in some specific niche situations, it'd be nicer to get off that Heal Bell than potentially and try and position Milotic to get in and get its Flame Orb proc again. Because there's a lot of mods on this team that I don't really want status if I don't need them to be, which is awesome. And there wasn't great coverage otherwise. I mean, we could have gone for... I originally had Psyshock for Tentacle, but most of the time I'm probably passing a Wish out to something else as it switches in, opposed to trying to catch up with the Psyshock. As nice as that chip could be, there still are too many other things that are just hardballs, things like Stack Attacka and Victini and things like that. We are Kebia Berry for things like Pheromosa, trying to throw off a big poison jab at us. We will chew that up and be able to Moonblast it back. This is probably our best Pheromosa check as well, so Aromatisse has some pretty good defensive utility in this matchup. It lets in a couple scary things that can potentially be a detriment to our team, so we're going to have to be careful on how we position it and all that stuff. But yeah, that's going to be our team. Let's go ahead and jump right into the match. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. Let's see what Torn decided to bring. I'm very nervous about this one, but we'll see. Okay. Just about everything that Jesse504 brought, minus he did not bring Tentacruel, and he brought something else, and I forget what it was. But we have Pheromosa, Victini, Gira, Togekiss, Tenta, and Muds. He's got the horses like Tarak. Now what I want to do is I think I want to lead my Necro, because it actually matches up pretty well versus everything not named Giratina. I get up my rocks on the Pheromosa pretty easy, and that's a trade I'll take because this team is extremely not fond of rocks, especially that Teeny. I want to either find out whether or not it's boots or guarantee that I get those up, because I think that's really important in me potentially stopping that thing. So good luck, have fun to Torn. Hopefully we can take this one home. And yeah. So let's see what she leads off with. She's going to be... Okay, that's fine. I am okay with that. Rocks are not scary to me. Not super worried about rocks. So what I can do is get them up like pretty freely and just throw off a fat Photon Geyser. My question is, I just want to throw a Photon Geyser off rip. No, I'm just going to get my rocks. I think rocks are important. Like, while Photon Geyser is, like, almost unresisted on this team, getting my rocks is just as important. It's going to be a Toxic. I do have Heal Bell support on this. Yeah, so it is going to be a Toxic. That's fine, honestly. I'm glad I changed to Heal Bell. which is nice. The only thing about heal ball that's tough about this is that I am Flame Orb Milo, so like sometimes I don't want to, Flame Orb that, get my Flame Orb away. But especially early on, that's completely fine. I'm just gonna throw off a fat Photon Geyser. The more I chip this, the better of a position I'm in. I'm gonna Photon Geyser. It is a clean 2-hit KO on Big Horse. Fence is gonna rise. Stealth Rock. That's fine. Okay. My question is, do I just throw off another Photon Geyser, or do I Earth Power expecting a Victini pivot? But does the Victini pivot really gain my opponent much? I don't think it really does. Especially because it lets me know if they're boots or not. And if they're boots, they're not half as scary to me. That's for sure. We have Earth Power coverage. So Photon Geyser is unresisted other than that Victini on my opponent's team, so I'll take it. If we take out this thing, I'm in a great spot with a lot of my physical offense. This thing's very annoying, especially Marshadow. It's one of the best protects to Marshadow on my opponent's team. So we are going to throw off yet another Photon Geyser. They are going to sack it off, so that's 1 kill, 2 big Necrozma. It's going to take home the first of the season as we take out the Mudsdale. Down it goes. Okay. And this thing's very annoying for my opponent to deal with. I want to see something. So I have my rocks up. Sash Pharaoh is also less of an issue. I think it's like Quivered Hands or something terrifying like that. Again, my Ments does really well right now. Like, super well. So, let's see what we can do. What are they going to go into? We don't have removal, so that's going to be scary. Satan! Jesus! Okay. that's a name. So Gear's gonna come in, it's gonna take rocks. Not that I thought it was gonna be boots, but not. Our main switch is gonna be Aromatisse 100% of the time. 100% of the time. If it's Calm Mind, it's a little scary. We do have sufficient ways of breaking through, and Spectral Thief can always steal this thing's boost and make us live a Giratina hit pretty easy on our Marshadow as well. So I think that's important to note, and we'll do a ridiculous amount of damage. So we are going to save our Necro. We can actually heal ball off this poison this next turn. Shadow Ball's going to pop. So we are at 182, down to no damage. Okay, so it's lefties. Again, that is fine. I think what I do is I heal bell. I think that is the move. And we'll go from there. Go from there. So, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? They're definitely thinking it over. Just gonna withdraw probably into Tentacruel. James, is that Tentacruel? Yeah, it is. Shiny Tentacruel. I actually really like Shiny Tentacruel. And it is Boots Tenta. Interesting information. I think my initial pivot is probably going to be my Necro. Again, I can throw just a super free Photon Geyser. Not much wants to, or I can even Earth Power on like a middle ground type play. I think Photon Geyser is probably my best play though. Probably gonna spin away my rocks. Yeah. Another thing I could do is I can actually elect to get my rocks again. So we are going to get our lefties back. How much do I value rocks? Over big damage on something. I can get my rocks later. I'm gonna go for Photon Geyser. Again, rocks are nice. It's not the biggest deal in the world. They're just gonna stay in Scald. Okay. This is gonna be nice damage. Fine with the burn. Whatever. Again, we are special. So, we'll do a lot here. Good lord, that is a good amount of damage. Awesome. So, that thing is incredibly weakened. Incredibly weakened, actually. And I think I'm just going to Morning Sun. Get a little bit more healthy. You throw up my rocks. A potential pivot to turn afterwards, but they're very okay with letting this thing go down. Which is interesting. I could have also Earth Powered this turn because I would have covered a Victini pivot. Fucking huge bugs. Okay, that's actually pretty bad. So at least my Necro isn't poisoned. My Marshadow being poisoned is pretty tough. I didn't think T-Spikes would come. I'm honest with you. Necro not being poisoned is nice. It's just the Aromatisse being poisoned is super ass, and so is Marshadow. Other than that, MELMETAL doesn't care. Mence obviously doesn't. This doesn't. I think I'm just gonna Earth Power. Another T-Spike, so that's 2 layers, which is, again, very, very unfortunate. Not too happy about that, but we're going to at least be able to take out this, this dude right here. So 2 layers of T-Spikes are going to go up, but at the very least, our team is pretty healthy at this moment. I'll take that. I'll take that. We're going to take a little bit of Burn Chip. We're going to be, like, at full, so I don't think Pheromosa can kill us either. And if Pheromosa comes in, I think I just have to, stay in Photon Geyser. Victor, okay. Well, this is, like, exactly what I'm here to, like, semi-check, especially with the double T-Spikes being up. I'm just going to Earth Power. If this thing V-Crates, so be it. V-Crates, so be it. I think I'll actually do a ridiculous amount. Again, we don't know if it's boots or not, which is unfortunate. It really sucks. Let's go ahead and throw up our Necro. We're really fat Necro. We're like max HP, a little bit of defense. So, I don't even know if Banded knocks us out. You could just U-turn as well. Earth Power is a 2-hit KO. They are going to V-create. They are going to hit. And if they're at -1, we have a small chance to knock them out. As they are, for sure, Banded. Good lord. So we have a chance to knock them out here. So we might be able to trade a bunch for Big Necro here. Ah, damn. Okay. It's fine. Fine. I think what I do is get at my rocks here, because I should be faster than them. I want to get at my rocks. I think rocks are actually very nice here. And it forces this thing to where it can never come in again. So, and I don't think that's Scarf damage. I don't think that's Scarf damage. If they're not... They're going to withdraw, so they should be dead to rocks. That's awesome. That is legitimately amazing. So, rocks are going to go up. Very nice. Again, absolutely amazing. And I think I'm just going to see how fast this thing is and stay in and attack it with a Photon Geyser. Into Togekiss. That's level 100. That's why it does 10%. I was going to say, damn. Okay. I'm going to go for a Photon Geyser right here. So we are faster. It's a very slow, what do you call it? Togekiss. Pretty bulky, but it looks to be probably Fizz Def. We are going to get knocked out here, but Necro put in the utmost of work. Getting up rocks, taking out, what, 2 Mons? So I'll take it. I'll for sure take it, and our endgame with Big Marshadow is very much so a possibility at this point. So I am going to go Mel here, and I think just throw off a risk-free double Iron Bash. Rocks, but again... What's gone? Once it's gone and Tentacle's gone, so there's not a resist to this that doesn't die, you know? So we're gonna click the button. Aura Sphere's gonna come out. That's amazing. Again, that's absolutely amazing. We are Assault Vest, so we will chew that like it's nobody's business. And we'll be able to double Iron Bash here. And now our endgame looks amazing with Marshadow. It looks absolutely amazing with Marshadow. Those three are gone. Yeah, I think we should win with Marshadow. I'm pretty sure. I just stay in and attack whatever comes in. Giratina? Fine. Fine. Pheromosa? Fine. I'm attacking. So again, I'm not super worried. Victini's dead to rocks. Tentacruel's dead. Well, it's just dead. Togekiss is dead. Beauty is going to be this Pheromosa. So that is going to be the Stealth Rock damage that we need. I'm just going to click Double Iron Bash. We should die to this thing, especially because I believe my opponent can run Adamant if they do reap aggressively enough. They're going to U-turn. There's no reason for me to save this. Absolutely no reason for me to save this, so this just gives me more and more and more and more and more chip. They should go Teeny here and sack off Victini. Rocks are up, so it doesn't really serve much of a purpose. So Rocks are going to pick up the KO on Victini, which is awesome. There's 3 kills for Big Necro. And it was a defensive set, so like that's how you know my boy's putting in work. Well, I mean, we were pretty offensive, but we weren't like set up or anything crazy. We were just Photon, Earth Power, Morning Sun, Stealth Rock. Again, that's completely fine with me. And again, I just don't let this thing like sub or anything, and it shouldn't be an issue for me. So I think our endgame is like, you know, Insight. Focus Blast. They're going to miss. So that's going to mean MELMETAL is going to just be able to keep massacring my opponent, as that double Iron Bash is going to clean knock that out. There's no way that thing was surviving. As down it goes. I don't know if that killed us, though. It would have helped with diff. I don't think that mattered, though. I mean, this thing can come out. I just spam Ice Punch until I die. I just spam Ice Punch. Well, actually, let me see what does more. Pretty sure Ice Punch does more. Does Double Iron Bash really do more? Jesus. Okay, well, Double Iron Bash does do more, like by a significant amount. So that's what we're going to click. Earth Power is going to pop, so this thing does have a little bit of coverage. Let's see how much Big Melly can do here. It's not going to knock it out. Like, nowhere close to it. But it should mean that Gira goes down. And I want to just make sure I don't die to a sneak, like a random sneak. We definitely did not. So, again, I'm going to keep spamming Double Iron Bash. That's what this Pokemon does. It clicks Double Iron Bash and you prosper. Especially when your opponent gives up their resist to it really, really early on. So it's going to be tough who I give the thumbnail to. Big Mel or Necro. They both put in like the this is going to kill me. I may be. Oh, Big Melly! He said, no, I'm not dying. Is that going to be Mel cleaning up on its own? Well, I guess so. We never got to bring out Marshadow. So sad. Melmel's definitely getting the thumbnail now. He chewed right there. GG's to SV Tornado. Go check out her channel in the description below. We had a very solid matchup this week, so I don't think this is a testament to her skill at all. We were just able to kind of position ourselves well, make sure we got our rocks, and keep clicking buttons. So, again, GG's, definitely go check out in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like. And if you're new here, go ahead and drop a sub. Really easy, completely free, and you can always change your mind later. But, again, with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Later.